Hello, I'm Alistair McIntyre, and I'm here to tell you about a fantastic new project is going on in the Riverdale and Leslieville areas of Toronto. I'm particularly addressing this to the businesses of the area because we want you all to get involved in this project because we believe it will be of great benefit to you all as well as to the area. So let me explain a little background, how this came to be done and how we've come to launch the whole thing. Firstly, I should say I'm a web publisher from Scotland, and I came to Canada for 6 months staying with friends on my website, and I loved it. I spent time in Prince Edward Island right through to British Columbia and a lot of points in between. Had an absolutely wonderful time. During that whole process, I was introduced to Nola Crew and Harold Nelson, who have a home in Riverdale. And they very kindly put me up for my last 2 months here in Canada to use as a base. And then during that last 2 months, I spent 3 weeks at Elliott Lake and up at the Soo, and I also spent a couple of weeks in Cape Breton. But through them, I was able to get to know more about Toronto and everything. But when I came back from Cape Breton, I had about a week to go on my visa, and I was just saying to Nola one night that I'd had an absolutely fantastic time in Canada, and she said to me, well, why don't you think about coming back and settling here? I went, wow, I'd even considered that. But I said, well, I'll think about that. And I did. I mean, I thought about it the rest of the night, and when I woke up in the morning, I said to Nola, I'm going to investigate this. And she said, well, Ontario Immigration, I mean, they're here in Toronto, phone them up and get an appointment and talk to them. And I did. In fact, there was every 2 weeks they have a business immigration seminar, and it's basically to tell prospective immigrants what Toronto and Ontario has to offer. And so I was invited down an hour before to have a talk one-to-one, and I sat in on the seminar. Then I had another wee meeting with them afterwards. And the upshot was they gave me all the forms I needed to apply for a work permit to come back to Canada. So when I went back to Scotland, I filled it in, and to my astonishment, within 10 days, I actually got my work permit back. I mean, I was thinking it would take 3 months to get it. So I had to spend a couple of weeks sorting things out in Scotland so I could come over, but I did. But one of the nice things was that Nola and Harold said, well, when you come back with your work permit, make your home with us here in Toronto and stay as long as you want. And that was an absolutely fantastic offer, which I took up. So I actually got to know the Riverdale and Leslieville areas quite well while I was staying with them. Now, as it happens, that's where I got to meet Savannah Johnston, and what I'm going to talk about is Savannah's website and how it can benefit all the businesses within the Riverdale and Leslieville area. Now, Savannah is their granddaughter, and she was staying with them at the time. She was living with them. And so naturally, because I was also living there and going back and forward, we got to meet and became good friends. And in fact, she's a girl after my own heart because she loves an Indian curry. And if anyone knows Scots, they'll know that Indian curries are the #1 takeout in Scotland. So from time to time, we would go out and have a good Indian curry together and have a wee blather and a chat. And over the years that I was coming back, as I became a board member of a couple of organisations in Toronto, so anytime I came back for those board meetings, I would also stay with Nola and Harold. And so I kind of knew Savannah through all her early days growing up a bit. And in fact, as an aside, I used to have great fun because her boyfriends would come to pick her up, and while they were waiting for her, she'd be saying to me, how do you know Savannah? And tongue-in-cheek, I said, well, we lived together. And of course, all said, live together? And of course, I explained I was a friend of the grandparents, and I was just staying for a couple of nights, but as she was under the same roof, we were living together. So the look of relief on their faces was kind of amusing, shall we say. I got an evil sense of humour, you'll have noticed. But anyway, one of the times I was over for a meeting, Savannah and I went out for a curry, and she was telling me that now she's established a realtor business, she was thinking of getting a website done, because it seems all realtors have to have their own websites. So she was asking me how to go about it. Now I have to say, I run my own website, but I don't run websites or do websites for other people. I only do my own. But I was explaining the concept, how she needs to get a domain name, get it hosted, and then published to the site. Fairly straightforward. And she was saying, but I don't actually know anyone that can help me create a website. How do I go about that? I kind of thought for a minute, and then maybe rashly I said, well, if you want, I'll help you do that. Get a website together. And so she said, that's great. And so that started us on this journey to this project. Now, I had some practical experience about a realtor, because when I obviously came back to Canada, I was looking for a home to buy. So, like everyone else that buys a house, you make use of a realtor. And I knew pretty much exactly what I wanted out of a home. I also knew the money I was prepared to pay to buy that home. The one problem I really had was where the heck to stay. Now, I already knew I wasn't going to stay in Toronto. It's far too expensive, and I didn't need to stay in Toronto because I work from home. All I need is really good broadband access where I live, and that's all I really need. So I could literally stay anywhere. So I ended up going up to Thousand Islands and Glengarry, which is in the extreme east of Ontario. I was up north in Elliott Lake and the Soo. I came down to like Sarnia and Windsor and lots of other places in between. And as it happens, I ended up buying a home in Chatham, which isn't actually too bad from my point of view, because all my web servers right here in Michigan, and it's about a 3.5-hour drive from my home to where the servers are in Michigan. So it was quite convenient, really, and it's about a 3-hour journey to Toronto. But the thing is, at least I know the kind of process that you go through. I know how important it is to get a good home inspector. In fact, I'm supposed, like many of you, you've maybe watched episodes of Homes on Homes, and you can see what happens when you get a bad home inspector. It can end up costing you a fortune. And so I'm thinking of those things, and I say Savannah's telling me about realtor sites that she thinks look good, and I'm looking at those, and I'm looking at other sites, and I'm trying to get a handle on how should we build her site. And then I was kind of aware that, you know, at the end of the day, this is very much a people business. You need to find someone you can trust and you can talk to and you can discuss things with. And you need someone that really knows the area and can give you advice about where to go to get the best home inspector. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but in some of these homes and homes, some of the home inspectors have done an absolutely terrible job. It's ended up costing a fortune to fix the problems that he hadn't noticed or she hadn't noticed. And then there's the whole thing of contractors. I mean, I'm appalled at how a lot of these contractors can get away with rubbish jobs. And if you don't pay them, they can actually put a lien on your house and sue you. I mean, it's absolutely unacceptable, in my view, that kind of thing. But again, it shows you the importance of trying to find a good contractor to do any alterations that you want made in your home. And it's all of these things. But I mean, within Savannah's extended family, many of who live in the Riverdale and Leslieville area, she has a lot of people that already have those kind of skill sets or know people that do. And because she was born and brought up in the area, I mean, she genuinely knows the area really, really well. And so that's where I felt that's what you want. You want to be able to get to a site and say, yeah, I want to talk to her, and I want to use her to get me my home and get everything sorted out that I need. But then it was like, I was thinking about me settling in Chatham. And I remember that I wasn't brought up in the area, like maybe a lot of you have been. And of course in Toronto there's a lot of immigrants coming in from all over the world, and a lot of them don't know the areas either. So they may pick Leslieville, and like me in Chatham, you've made your decision, you've bought your house, now what's in the area? Now I've got to say, I think there are dozens of businesses in Chatham that I don't even know exist. And there is nowhere I can go to find those companies. I mean, I can go to a business directory. Most economic departments have a business directory, but all you get is the name of the company, and basically they're under a category, but that doesn't tell you anything about them at all. And I thought to myself, you know, what would be really good is if there was a site where you could find out about all the businesses in the area and what they do. And so this is the whole concept that we've come to build Savannah's site. The idea is that we want to offer every business in the area, and I mean every business, from a little home business to a small shop to a restaurant to a pub to the local dentist, the schools, everyone, their own web page on this site. So when you come to the site, you'll clearly see Leslieville, click, and it'll say local directory, and there'll be a what's on guide, and I'll come to that in just a second. But the whole point of the local directory is, now this is not a web design job, this is a communications job, so we're not going to get into the minutiae of can you use a different font, can you use a different colour background or anything like that. It's going to be clean, clear, and it will be well laid out. But we want some pictures from you. And that can't be hard to get, because most of us have got digital cameras these days, or know someone that has one. The idea is we'd like a picture of the front of your business, so that when people are driving down trying to find a parking space and find you at the same time, they'll spot your business from the picture. That's where I need to go. Oh, there's a parking space. You know, it just makes life easier. Where appropriate, we'd like to get pictures of the inside of your shop. Anything you want to show us, essentially. But we'd really love to get a group picture of the owners of the business and their staff. Bearing in mind that a lot of the staff that you have in your shops and businesses come from the local area. So it'd be lovely to get a kind of group picture of you all together, and perhaps when you send it to us, you can give us all your names underneath the picture so that we can put that up with it. Now that's the pictures, but we want good text to go with it. We want you to tell us all about your business, as much as you want to tell us. Mention all your unique selling points. Every business has some unique selling point or other. Otherwise, why would you go into business? So tell us all these unique selling points, but tell us a story about you. And then we need to know, when are you open? What are your hours? Do you do 7 days a week or 6 days a week? Tell us. You need to tell us all these things. And give us all the contact. We need your address, obviously. We can put up your telephone number, your fax number. If you have a website, give us your website. We'll put a link to your website as well. Email address, anything at all. So incorporate all that in with the information that you give us. And as I say, what I'd like you to do is actually, when you finish listening to this video, I'd like you to actually get that stuff together now and email it to us at the latest tomorrow, but certainly within the next month. Work at it, and we'll get it up. And as soon as we've got your page up, we'll reply to your email and say, right, your page is up, and we'll give you the URL. You just click the link and you can see what we put up for you. And of course, like everyone, we're not going to be perfect, but you might notice there's a spelling mistake somewhere, or you forgot to mention something that you would like to mention. So, feel free to say, that's great, but could you maybe add this for me, and could you correct this entry for me? And we'll do that without any problem. And even down the road, because all businesses evolve and change, and we may drop lines, add new lines, put a new service on, or whatever. So if there's a change in your business, and it's an important change, think, must get my page updated on Savannah's site. Phone us, send or email in the change, and we'll make it for you. And I can tell you this much. If there was that kind of site available in Chatham, where I am, I would have spent a few nights when I first came here going through every single entry in that directory so I could learn about what was available in the area. I genuinely would have done that, because when I first came to Chatham, I knew nothing. I actually had to walk a few of the streets so I could get to know what kind of shops and stuff were around the place. But if I had that, it would have been so much better, so much better. But as I say, the next thing on that is promotions. Now, I can give you a practical example here. Back in Scotland, I ran a computer dealership, and it was a very good computer dealership, I might add. We had 14 of us staff, and our turnover in Canadian terms was maybe $3 million a year. But most of my business was tied up with corporates like BP, chemicals, BP refinery there was Borg Warner, there were the shipping lines there because it was a big port. But I was kind of aware that a lot of my business was tied up on those corporates, and I wanted to try and spread it to more local businesses if I could. And I was saying, well, how do I get to these local businesses? These were the days before the internet and the web and stuff like that. And I thought I would design a really good advert for the local paper. And at the time I thought, I'll just design an advert I want to design. And then I'll see how much it would cost to actually turn it into actuality. And part of my advert was going to be static. But another part of it, I wanted to be like a weekly editorial. that I would give some general advice or information on a particular topic. And I hope by doing that every week when the paper came in, people that were interested would make a point of going to my advert to read about that particular article or something at that time. And through that and over time, when they came to want to buy a computer or a business system or a small accounting system for their business or that they would automatically think of us. And that's where the whole thing comes in, because when you've got everything up, I'm sure there's a lot of businesses in the area that can actually tell us stories about something to do with their business. I mean, I noticed, for example, there was a big cheese shop in Leslieville, and I was thinking, well, every week they could send us in a picture of a cheese and then put a wee article together telling us about the cheese, where it was made and everything like that, and then maybe tell us that it's particularly suitable for a sandwich or with pasta or whatever. They give us a wee write-up. They could even do a couple of cheeses every week. And if you were doing that, then on your page we'll make that like a little index page to all these articles you send us in. And I think that would make a great read for the people. So not only do they get a local directory, but they actually get a whole pile of additional information. So hopefully they'll be coming more and more and more regularly to the site, and that's what you want. Because we want to use the what's on to promote anything that's in the area. This could be, you decide that you're going to have 1 week, you're going to have a 20% off sale on everything in your shop. Or you might want to tell people about a brand new line and a special offer to launch it. Or there might be a pub that is going to bring in a special group on Saturday night, and you want to spread the word about that so more people will visit. So, and even the local doctor could even say, well, the time for the flu jags, or if it's a really sweltering hot week coming up in Toronto, the vets might want to give you some advice about your pets and stuff like that. And maybe there's a local charity event on. Well, they can tell us about the event. So all of these kind of things, can be done with this community site the Savannah's building. Now this is really the first phase, and what we want really is literally all of you to become part of this community effort, because it can only benefit your business. And don't forget, because it's on the web, that doesn't mean it will only hit the Riverdale and Leslieville areas. People will come from further afield out of pure curiosity to look at it. And if someone's an hour's drive away, it's not unthinkable that if your offer is good enough, they may decide to drive that 1 hour to get your offer. So you could well attract people from outside of the areas that we're focusing on. But we would like to get all of this information from you as fast as we possibly can. And we'd really like to get it within the next 4 weeks. Now, if any of you are challenged from the computer point of view, and have real difficulty in getting photographs together or anything, well, just pick up the phone and dial Savannah. Now, her website is savannahjohnson.com. Just go there, the phone number is right on the front page, dead easy. Pick up the phone, say, Savannah, we'd love to participate in this local directory, but we don't really have the skill set to do it. Any chance you come down and help us? And I say Savannah will be more than helpful. She'll make an appointment with you, come down, help you get the information together, and you'll be on there. But please, 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 every single business, every one of you reading that, please get involved, because it's going to be powerful, but it'll only be powerful if the community gets involved. And at the end of the day, it's all about community. So the community will sink it or make it a huge success. Now, the reason we're saying try to get this together the next 4 weeks for us is that the second phase of the operation is telling the local residents all about the facility, because we intend to do a mail shop to all the houses in the Riverdale and Leslieville area, and that leaflet will explain the website and what's offered on the website, and will hopefully encourage everyone to at least visit it for the first time to see what all the fuss is about. And hopefully when they visit it, they'll just think it's knockout and a fabulous resource for them in their own home, and they will bookmark it and hopefully come at least every week to see what's going on. So you can see how we can build this most fabulous resource, and so we can add even more to it. We will be looking at adding forums, so if people have the skill set and they're interested in forums, they can pop in and make a comment about something that's going on in the area, or tell us a story about something. They can, in these forums, they'll be open for everyone, and when we get the forum open, there will be a general message forum. It will probably be under Savannah Johnson as a group, So when you go in there, open up that group, you'll see Leslieville, Riverdale, and probably general messages. So if it's just a general kind of message, nothing specific for either Leslieville or Riverdale, you just pop in there. But if it's something you want to talk about that's in Riverdale specifically, go there, or Leslieville, go there. And again, we can build these forums, we can do other things with them, we can add more if it's clearly important. I mean, for example, John and I were talking the other day about there's a lot of artists around, people that are trying to get their pop groups going and so forth. And so if you're getting involved in stuff like that, and maybe there's a YouTube video that you've put together, tell us about it, we'll feature it on the site. We can give you your own page. In fact, if you're a struggling group trying to get going, get a group picture, hopefully get us a video so we can hear what you're like. If you've got a website, tell us about it, we'll put a link to it. So maybe we could build an artist category, within it. So I mean, there's all kinds of things we can do, but the basics is let's get the local directory up and running as rapidly as we possibly can, and then as soon as we've more or less got most of that up, we'll then target the local residents to tell them all about it and encourage all of them to come in and make use. And at that point, that's where you should start to see a difference in the amount of people walking into your shops and doing business with you. So that's the whole concept. I hope you'll love the idea as I do and want to get involved. In fact, if you're a real community, everyone should get involved. I mean, no one should be left out of this. And as I say, we'll help, but a lot of you can easily put together some pictures and stuff and just email it to us, and we'll get it up right away. We don't actually need to physically come and see you, but if you would like us to come and see you to talk about other possibilities, just pick up the phone and I mean, bearing in mind, Savannah does have a full-time job in a realtor business, so you may well get her answering machine, but she'll return your call. That's not a problem. But at the same time, you can email her and say, Savannah, could you please phone us on such and such, and if you can phone about this time, that would be a great time to phone us if you can. And she'll come down and chat about things. So anyway, there you go. This is savannahjohnson.com website. Hopefully it's going to be an absolutely fabulous community site that will be a major benefit to you as a business owner within the area. And we obviously hope it will be a fantastic service to the local community and the local residents. So please visit the site. Please start to get your stuff together. Get it to us as fast as you possibly can. The faster you move, the faster we can move on the whole project. And we're here for the long term. Believe you me, we're here for the long term. So, I personally will look forward to meeting some of you when I'm staying with Noel and Harold and visiting with Savannah. And certainly I'll be trying to get around a lot of the restaurants while I'm there, for sure. And of course, if you want to give me a free meal when I'm there, I won't object, honestly. Okay, there you go. SavannahJohnson.com, look at the site, it's already up and running, whether we got a kind of starter going, but we need you to come in to make it what it can be. Nice talking to you.